I'm Robert Cavuto, and today on Metal Rules, I'm pleased to speak with Calico Cooper and Chuck Garric of Beastö Blancö for their upcoming release that we're going to talk about and learn more from today. Guys, welcome, and thank you so much for your time.
Hey, good to see you, man.
Yeah, I love the new I love the new song, and I'm really intrigued by what the rest of the album holds. But what's great about this song is it's a straight up rocker, and it's aggressive, it's melodic. What can we expect from the rest of the album?
Well, you can pretty much expect the same, but you know us more than anybody. I think the one thing you'll get with Beastö Blancö is, not just one particular sound.
Yeah.
Although it's always recognizable and it's always Beastö sounding. This is a straight ahead rocker, but we're always taking chances and just veering off the dirt road every once in a while and seeing what other adventures we can get into.
I think it's one of my favorite songs that you guys done. It's right up there with Solitary Rave. Those are
that's cool, man.
Favorite song. So
yeah, I mean, I think this is one of those things where we had an opportunity to work with this producer, this guy Chris Harms, and he's I don't know if you're like every other probably American that I know. I didn't know that what is the show that he was on, Eurovision.
Okay.
I didn't know that was I thought there was a Will Ferrell movie.
Yes, I didn't think it was a real
right
thing.
Exactly. So the comedy of it is they said, oh, we're working with this guy that's on Eurovision, and I went, I don't remember seeing him in that movie, but I guess like there's a whole planet out there that we just don't know about. And the show Eurovision is massive. I mean, it's American Idol times a billion. And so his band, Lord of the Lost, represents Germany. So the cool part about that is that he had this really cool, it was still really heavy metal, but it had this sort of Euro groove, melody to it. And it's funny you should say melody, because my friends that have been listening, forcibly or not, to my music since I started, their comment is, this is the first Beastö song that I really hear melody, because it was heavy, desert rock before, but this is very melodic. And I guess I'm just noticing that word keeps coming up over and over again, melody. And hey, I'm here for it.
No, that's great. You talk about the desert rock. Are you moving a little bit with the video? Are you moving a little bit more towards space rock? Because I know they had the comic book that came out, and when I spoke with Chuck for the comic book, he said there's going to be eventually ties to that on stage, and I was wondering if there's ties to that musically. Other than
I mean, in my opinion, I think so. We were kind of doing timeless desert stuff like that, and then I was thinking about what if it was we're cowboys, right? We're outlaws, but what about space cowboys, space outlaws? And so it's still we're still the same group of people in the desert, but in a comic book, you can take the Fabulous or Fantastic Four and put them in any world, right? And so I was like, what if we're exactly the same people you saw in Death Rattle and everything, but now we're in space, right? So it can go anywhere. And I love the concept of it, where it's the machine girl's the machine girl, whether she's, at the bottom of the Marianas Trench or in space.
Right.
And it's how they deal with their circumstances and how the music changes just slightly depending on where they are.
No, I love it. I think it's fantastic. It's been 5 years since We Are. How long have you guys been working and developing this album? Because I know you guys Chuck is always on tour with Alice Cooper. I mean, 3/4 of the year he's out there. So how long did it take? What's been involved with it?
Well, I think the process is never stopping. Even though I'm on tour with Alice Cooper, and it has been a few years or 5 years, like you say, since our last release, I'm always writing, I'm always creating, always coming up with ideas, because you just never know when and what the next opportunity is going to be, and that's what had developed with this particular record. What I'm doing is I'm writing, I'm creating, I'm getting ready for what's going to be next, and having plenty of arsenal there for somebody. So we were doing we were on tour with Beastö. We were back in Germany doing a couple of shows there, and the guys from the record company had shown up to see us. They'd heard about us, and they instantly just had ideas of what they thought they wanted to do with us. And they had the producer Chris Harms in mind. That was their number one choice, was that they really wanted us to work with him. They thought it would be a good match. So Chris and I started throwing ideas back and forth to each other. And so that's what I mean by, you know, having stuff ready to go.
Right.
And we were just tossing ideas back and forth, you know, through email, and then, you know, talking and just getting a feel for where everybody's at, especially him, coming in as a co-songwriter and as a producer, and making sure that we're gonna meld, because I know that he was super excited to take us on his journey of what he thought Beastö Blancö was, which I love that. I love people's take on just kind of, you know, chaos we've been up to, and they want to be part of it, you know. And Chris was on board, you know, and he's definitely one of those guys. If you know the band Lord of the Lost, or just know him in general, he's right there on that ship with us for sure, man. I mean, he's definitely people that you want to get into a little mischief with, you know.
Yeah. With that said, how many songs did you write over the last 5 years to make how many songs are going to be on the album? Can you say how many songs are on the album?
Oh yeah, there's 11 songs on the album, and I would say over the last, I mean, gosh, there probably was 30, 40 songs written, you know, and you know, maybe entire songs or just little pieces here and there, riffs. You know, people that are songwriters, we know how it works. You kind of, you start either with a melody or a lyrical idea, or a riff on guitar or something like that, drum groove. So it just really just evolved into 11 of the songs that we thought were really cool, and we're going to be, the way I look at a record is building a set list, you know, and also we records now. Beastö has 3 albums out. So we wanted to kind of start filling the gaps a little bit too, with some different grooves that we don't have with some of the older songs. And also getting, you know, which this fabulous thing that we have that nobody else has, which is the dynamic between Calico and I. I mean, that her vocal range and her stage presence is such a force. So we really wanted to make sure we were tying that in, so people can kind of sonically, you know, get an idea of what they might see visually when they come and see us live. So we're just always trying to, you know, just move forward and try new things, and also not step away from what has been working for us.
You know,
Yeah, and I also think I was
good.
just gonna to tag on to the end of that. It's so funny you asked that, because I was just thinking about that last night, about how some of the songs we were working on for years. You know what I mean? Like, it was like an idea that was being kicked around for years. And then I can think of, you know, one song in particular that, you know, Harms had the melody, and he goes, I don't really have any lyrics for this. And it's like one song took us 2 years to put together. And then, you know, Chuck and I are in Germany, and they gave me the melody, and I went home and I wrote the whole thing at our Airbnb that night, just boom, done. And it's one of my favorite songs. But it's like, yeah, the process is kind of like, it's new than what we've done. I think, you know, we also spanned the pandemic on this one.
Yeah.
So there are songs that existed prior, and then songs that were made during, which is like another one of my favorite songs. I wrote the lyrics walking circles around my pool, like drinking wine and being like, it doesn't matter because the world is coming to an end, and I'm just gonna write whatever. And it's so good, and I'm so proud of it. And then like that song that we just wrote in one night, like they all have this really special sort of like, you know, pick the special kid in the group. But I have an affinity for each song. It has such a special place. And that's why we also did 11 videos for 11 songs.
Holy shit.
So for every song that's coming out, there will be an attached visual.
Are all the videos done?
Yeah.
Wow. That's pretty cool.
Thank you.
That's
I just got a crazy person. I was just like, I can do this.
You know, speaking about the writing the songs, how do you guys divvy up the lead vocals? You know, it really seems to work extremely well when Calico takes something, when Chuck takes some things, but you know, Calico's always adding to when you're singing. So how do you figure that out?
Yeah, I mean, it's like, you know, Calico and I have spent a lot of time together, and we listen to a lot of music. And the cool thing about what we do is, you know, our taste in music is different, but we both listen to what each other's into, and it inspires both of us. You know, she's turned me on to bands that I had no idea that I even love. To this day, they're some of my favorite bands now. So I think as artists, we're trying to continue to be artists, and that's important. when it comes to divvying up the vocal lines or who's going to sing what,
Right.
I don't really think that we've ever really gone like, okay, I'm going to sing the next song, or she's
Right.
going to. We just listen to it, and I'll look at her and I'll go, you know what? You should sing that bit. You should sing this line, or you should sing this song. And speaking of, Chris Harms, when we were in the studio with him in Germany, there was one song in particular that they had that he had already written. And it's one of my favorite songs on the record. And Rob, I'll play it for you one time. But
Yeah.
it was a song that when I first heard, I go, that's Calico. Like there was no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Like that's the song she needs to sing. And I think, and what I love so much about her was like, she was like, yeah, okay. So we're listening to it back in the studio, and then she goes in and sings it. And we realize the song is just completely out of her key. It's just way too low. It's not working. It wasn't popping. It was this whole thing. And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, I go, well, shoot, man, did I pick the right song for her? Cause I certainly don't want something out of it that's not what I was hearing. It's got to be better than what I'm hearing. So we ended up just going in and raising the entire song up a couple of keys and making it fit for her. And then there's that Beastö dynamic. I think that we know, like, hey, in this particular part, it would be good to have Calico do a harmony with me there, or me harmonize with her, or her favorite, which is when I just come in and I go, oh yeah, right over her vocal line.
Yeah.
She loves that more than ever,
Oh yeah, that's my favorite thing.
Yeah, step on her vocal line. It's definitely one of her favorite, wouldn't you say?
Yeah. Oh, I know, I love it, especially when, like, I'm really like hearing like something beautiful that I've never heard come out of me before, and I'm finishing the line, and all of a sudden you hear, oh girl. But you know what?
Hey, it's what I do. And I'm happy to do it for her.
And it's the chemistry. That's what makes the songs great. And
there is, for sure, yes.
And to your earlier point, Chuck, I couldn't see you singing Solitary Rave. It just doesn't work. It's like it is the perfect song for her. And that's,
of course,
it comes together.
Yeah,
and the dress helped, right? The dress
Chuck
helped.
parties by himself. Chuck's a solitary rave guy.
That's true. That's true. Chuck and I were talking before you joined on. I saw Chuck in Omaha this summer. It was August. My daughter goes to school out there, and I saw the tour buses. I saw the sign that you guys were playing, and I saw him on the street that night. He was having a cigar out front, and I asked him, when is this album coming out? And he says, 2024. That's all I got from him. What could you tell me now?
Coming out in 2024. Rob, I got to tell you, man, I am super, and I don't want to use this word, but I really am really excited about the release of this record, because it really is different, but it is Beastö at the same time. And we've taken some really cool, chances on different melodies and different, writing styles, but it all just works so well. I mean, there were songs that when we were writing them, I remember Calico and I just looking at each other going, oh man, this is going to be either be super cool or it's just not going to work. But we never really ran into that. We just really made it lyrically work. We made it musically work for Beastö. And I think, being a Beastö fan like you are, Rob, I think you will be just as excited to take a bite out of this one as you have the other three.
Well, I was excited. I thought this was a tease, like, oh my God, it's going to come out in a couple of months. And I was excited to get the album, but they didn't give it to me. They only gave me the one song. So I gotta wait. So
that's the marketing nowadays. We can't give you the whole record.
That's it. It's all
the way it goes now is they do single number 1, single number 2, potentially single number 3, and then they'll drop the whole record. So it's actually a good thing for us that the record's not out yet, because if that would be kind of a signal of like, I don't think we can get any more out of these.
Yeah.
But the first single, I think, because of the visuals and because of people really receiving the song well, not just in America, but like all over the place, it's doing really well. And I'm so encouraged by the growth of it. And like, what we didn't have, I don't want to say back in the day, because what was only 5 records ago, but like us common folk didn't have access to demographics, right? We didn't know, we're guessing what is working and what's not, and who's listening and who's
Right.
not. And over the past 5 years, I was dragged unwillingly, but I went into the cyber world of, hey, this is who's listening, and this is
Smart.
who your audience is. And so I'm not sure how much I considered that with the music, but with the visuals, I heavily considered who was watching. And some really stunning numbers is, it's like, I was shocked at the amount of young women that are listening. And ladies in metal is this huge resurgence of that happening. And theatricality, there's a huge resurgence of that happening. And I'm super encouraged by it not being as niche as it kind of was. And now, because everything's so visual, you almost can't put a record out without a bunch of visuals. And I just thought, well, rather than have somebody go through the internet and just take quick grabs of us doing live performance, like, let's do it. We have the time. Let's make it happen. And so when the record gets released, it's sort of in the middle of the melee, right? And so I've learned how this works and why this works. And it's not as much a grab for clicks or views or anything. It's really giving people like the time to like and share. And I know for me, I think I'm on top of stuff, and then I'll hear a song that I'm like, my brain explodes, and they go, oh yeah, that came out 6 months ago. I go, how is that possible? How did I not? Because there's so much content now. There's no way to do it. So I think all bands, all labels, kind of this caliber, are taking their time and really letting people digest the singles. Like, I just saw across genres, like Blink-182 did it on their new like reunion record. Their song came out and you can see the track listing, but you could only click on the single.
Right.
So it's like, One More Time is the song. And then it's like track 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Right. And then like, I would keep going back. I'm like, they did it. They got me. I'd keep coming back and checking. And then it's like, they would do no lead up. Like, like in 5 days, in 4 days, in 3 days. One day I just woke up and it was all over the internet. New Blink single out. And I, like a big dumb asshole, I'm like, wah! And I like ran to hear it.
Yeah.
Because marketing is a new thing now.
Yeah.
And you not only have to be an artist and a creator, but now you have to have a friggin' business degree to do this. And we're so lucky to have like this new record label, and we have this amazing person doing social media who's not just doing it, but teaching me how to do it. And so it's like, I'm at YouTube University, girl. I'm just learning how to do everything.
There's a science to everything, it's a smart approach. The one thing I was thinking, I told you guys, I saw you guys twice. Calico, and you're such a sweet person. You're very nice. I met you off stage. You took pictures with all the fans for your birthday night in 2018. What turns that switch from when you're on stage when you hop on stage to that persona that you're in? Because when you come off, you're very soft spoken. There was a couple times I'm taking pictures of you guys and I'm looking down the barrel of the bat and I'm like, oh my God, what the heck is going on here? So what turns that switch on and off?
For me, I think it's a feeling of that person obviously lives somewhere inside. That creature lives somewhere in here, right? And I think what makes Beastö kind of work is that, you see some bands that do like theatrical stuff and you're like, that's not who that person is. Like, it doesn't feel authentic. It's cool, but it's not authentic. Like, you're pushing. I think what reads about Beastö is you can tell in our performance, whether it's me or Chuck or any of those guys, that like, we might not be like that off stage, but for some reason you believe that that's coming from somewhere. And for me, and it's a lot in this record, in my experience as just a woman, be it in the industry or not, is pretty similar to a lot of people's experience. Like, being a celebrity kid doesn't protect you from a lot of things. And I think that creature comes out where I'm safe, but you're safe. Because if I brought that down, that would be an unsafe thing. Me up there, I can do whatever I want and take out my my anger, my fury, or my just whatever it is, my sass, my whatever, any of those emotions. A lot of them are good, but it's a safe space for me up there to explore them. Like nothing's choreographed. You know, I don't go, oh, on this part I have to do this. I kind of just let it go. And I think the real sign of a crazy person is I'm an actor also. A lot of actors or musicians that do theatrical stuff will say, I need 30 minutes to go into the character and like get and whatever. And people go, oh, that's so bizarre and weird, and what a weird artsy person. Okay, maybe, but are they crazier, or is it crazier for me, who can go from talking to you like this and immediately snap into it? Because it's not living far from who you're talking to right now. This is a real person, but at the drop of a hat, it's a real pop psychology thing. But I think somebody was telling me the other day, who's the voice in your head? When you're assessing a situation, when you're looking whatever, who's the voice in my head? And the voice in my head is that thing.
Yeah.
This is what you're seeing. But the voice in my head is assessing the situation and the person, whatever. And I'm hearing her voice going, just push him down the stairs. You know what I mean? And then what I say is, hey, that's great. Yeah, no, I can get it to you today. That's no problem. But it's her voice that's in my head. Make him suffer.
And
you know what I mean?
You were on tour with your dad, so you were cutting his head off every night. So I have to believe you must have been channeling something that time he didn't let you go to the party at 16. It's like, now I'm gonna get you.
Right, or maybe it's genetic, you know, I don't know. Maybe we have a mental illness, and which is also, hey, way to capitalize on that. But
you gonna say something, Chuck?
No, I was just, I was thinking that I was listening because I always find it so intriguing that I've known Calico for all these years. And I just love hearing about how she, snaps into character, because I do think there's one thing that I've noticed with this band is that all of us we can be in a group at a party on tour, and there's, 100 people backstage, and it's just the 4 or 5 of us in a little circle. And we're all just kind of talking and we're doing our thing. Somebody comes up, or somebody wants to take a photograph, and instantly we're snapped right back. We know exactly what we're supposed to do. We know exactly who we are, and that we give them that moment. And I think that's what's important with Beastö, is that we understand our responsibilities. We understand that you're here to be entertained, and we love doing it. And not only are we just doing this thing to entertain people, but we actually truly do believe in what we're saying and who we are on stage. There is a side to us up there that, we need as people to survive as well. Something, instead of, just being like, yeah, I'm a guy with guitar. It's like, no, I'm leaning in, and I'm going to make you feel this the way that I'm feeling it as well. And I think that's the thing that Calico does so well.
Yeah, and you too.
She
and the
leans
chemistry on stage is like, it's combustible. You guys are crazy shit.
And I've seen it with the other guys, where all of a sudden I'll just look over, because I can feel something's going on, and I'll look to my left, and I will just start laughing, or just inside my head go, there it is, because I can see it. I can see Brother Latham is now in this whole other world. The two of them are just doing this thing, and Calico mentioned earlier, it's not choreographed. It's not. It may not happen the next night. Else will, but not that particular thing. So the only thing that's really choreographed is our set list at times. That's it.
Great show. I've always enjoyed the show. I want to be respectful of your time. I know they wanted me to keep it to 25 minutes. I know you didn't say when the album is coming out, but can we assume there's going to be a little US tour or some sort of tour after you're done with Alice, I guess?
Maybe in the middle of it. Who knows?
Maybe in the middle of it, right. All right.
Let's just say 2 words, maybe in the middle of it, but I can't say. Isn't that annoying? I hate that. It's the nature of the beast. It's like anytime you do a TV show or a cool tour is coming up.
Can't say about it.
Yeah, I get it's for PR, but like I just finished a television show and I'm so excited about it. And I can't, everybody's like, so what's it called? I'm like, TV show. Like I can't
I will tell you this, and for all your listeners and for all your readers and for you, especially Robert, because you deserve to know, you would come buy a ticket if you weren't already on the list, and don't worry about that because we'll always take care of it. But
Yeah.
my point is that, of course, yes, we plan on touring this record, and I do have a busy schedule, but it will be during the downtimes of Alice Cooper when we are hitting these markets, and some of them we can't go to as long as we want to. But I will tell you this: what's more important, and the way that we are going to be able to tour this thing is by continuing to grow our fan base.
Yeah.
We have had such an enormous response to this single. We have so many new fans, and it is. Sadly, it's a business and it's about the numbers, right? It's about the followers, which I hate. But what has happened is we've seen this tremendous growth. This volcano is just erupting right now, and it's important for music fans to keep supporting their bands that they love, because that's how we get out there and tour. Because the promoters all of a sudden are like, oh, I better jump on this bandwagon too and book these bands, and we need to be out there with similar bands like ourselves, and being able to go out there and do it right, and be able to give the music fans, the show that they deserve, the thing that we are the best at, and that is being Beastö Blancö.
Yeah, and it's really like, it feels cringe, but it's the truth. He speaks the truth. You know, I know how annoying it is every day to go on social media and see your favorite band go like and share, click and follow, blah, 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 because I'm annoyed doing it. But the truth is that he's right. Like, we want to come to your town. We want to do all those things. But the way that it's set up now is the likes and follows. And even though it's annoying, just know we're annoyed also. We don't want to. But just like, the fact of the matter is that we want to come to you. We want, it's, if I never see another picture of me again, I'd be fine. But it has to happen because it's like it gets to some weird algorithm, and then some person that doesn't know about us sees it and is a lifelong fan. And that's who we're trying to reach now. Like, we have the loyal Beast, our great fans. They are unbelievably supportive. 100% could we not have still been going if it wasn't for their support. It's insane, truly, and not like lip service. Truly could not maintain this without the purchase of the merch and everything like that. And it's like, I think it very easily can be seen from the outside, like an ego trip, like, buy our merch, do our this, do our that. It's, we're not starving musicians. That's not why we're doing it. I worked on these visuals. Chuck worked on this music so hard that I want you to see it so bad that I'm willing every day to go, hi, it's Calico. Go click on my thing. But it has to happen, and I get it, and I respect it more now that I understand what it does.
Well, I'm really intrigued by the album. I can't wait to hear it. And hopefully I could talk to you guys again. And I will see you guys on tour when you come to New Jersey or New York. So I will
All right, we would love that.
Thank you, Rob.
Thank you, guys. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
All right, see you. Bye.